this week's parasha. I think we've told it, but it's a story worth repeating. The Gaon Rabbi Abela of not Postville, but Postville. Close. Just reading.
The original Postville.
Huh?
The original Postville.
The original Postville is Postville in Russia. Now he was a big Misnagdish Godel. To look him up, I'm sure there's about Svarim. So he related to the Tzemach Tzedek as follows. That when they wrote and sealed the excommunication, the ban of excommunication against Chassidim, the time of the Vilna Gaon, and not just in the time of the Vilna Gaon, so it was written up and lying in the room of the Vilna Gaon on his table. And he says, I was there, and all the Gaonim of Vilna came and signed it, excommunicating. By the way, just the Alter Rebbe's contemporaries, what they wanted to do. The other Talmid Yamagi, after this came out. You don't know the history? Famous, it's a long story. It's one of the most dramatic stories in the history of Chassidus. They wanted to do they came to the Alter Rebbe, Hagan Tzadichus, traveled from Poland, that they should make a chedim against the Misnagdim. Counter it. And the Alter Rebbe refused and fought it. In the end, they didn't. Because had they done so, they'd have all shmadzach.
Then there wouldn't be dear betachtoinim.
What?
Then there wouldn't be dear betachtoinim.
To be a tachten, that's irredeemable. They would have, the chedim made by the Gedolei Tzadikim would have cut us, or should cut them off from their source, and the mata, they would have shmadzach, and what a terrible chil Hashem that would be, and also for them, Alter Rebbe wouldn't do it to them. So Alter Rebbe was ready to suffer, and it went way further with culminating with his arrest and the attempt to eliminate him, and the redifus, the persecution that Chassidim suffered for generations, took till Tzemach Tzedek, till things calmed down. He was ready to suffer all that. He was not going to put them in chedim. But they did. This was going to be a counter to what they did. So this is Rabbi Abela tells the story to the Tzemach Tzedek. Tzemach Tzedek's time already there was peace. As often happens, sadly, the peace was because of a common enemy. The common enemy was the Reform movement that started, the Enlightenment that started and claimed tremendous, there were many korbanos. And so they had to unite to stop the spread of the kfirah, which was extremely seductive. It began in Germany. Moses Mendelssohn, the founder. So the Chassidim and the Misnagdim united, and that was a big cause of, that's the way it works for us Jews. Only when we face, a threat, then there's achdus. We've got to learn to do that in good times. So back to the story. Good morning. As you're going to hear the story here, just recap quickly. So Rabbi Abela was a great leader, lived in Vilna. He was a big Gaon, and he relates that he was summoned to the Vilna Gaon's room. He actually learned in an attic upstairs, was removed. And on the table was the excommunication of the Chassidim. Excommunicated, which means can't count in a minyan, can't marry, no business, excommunicate. This world and the next, that's what they thought they were doing. So he also went and he looked at the paper, it said Abela, so I'm not signing it. He told it to the Tzemach Tzedek. So he relates to the Tzemach Tzedek, so they asked him, why didn't you sign? The Vilna Gaon signed it, the greatest leader of the... And the Vilna Gaon, he said, is Kemalach Hashem Tzvokos, like an angel of the Lord of Hosts. It's a reference to the Gemara. You shouldn't learn from a teacher if he's not like that, like an angel of God. And the Vilna God, like an angel of God. So the Rabbi said to his colleagues, the fellow Goinim, the great leaders, the Litvish Misnagdish leaders in Vilna, he said, yeah, it's taka true. The Gon is Kemalach Hashem Tzvokos, he's a holy angel. But he says that when Avram was told to Shecht Yitzchak, which you're reading the Shabbos, this parsha, so the tzivui, the commandment, came from God himself. You read the story, and Hashem says to Avram, take your son, bring him up without a shechter. But afterwards, when he's told not to, it says the angel told him. The discrepancy. The angel should start, angel should finish. Eivish starts, Eivish finishes. So it says the teacher. When it comes to save a yid, even a malach is good enough. But to shecht another Jew, I got to hear this from God himself. So he says, with all due respect, the Vilna Gaon was Taka Malach Hashem Tzvokos, but here excommunicate another Yid. She said, heaven helped me, and I didn't sign. He lived to an old age because he's telling this story to that Tzemach Tzedek, and he lived to be able to say, Baruch Hashem, now that we're working together in peace and we've reconciled, made peace with our differences, I thank Hashem that I had the schus to withhold my hand from such a thing. The lesson for us, of course, is, obvious. To criticize somebody else, that's do something negative, think 10 times. A favor, it's okay. Do a good thing. What's the source? Where's the you don't have to second guess that. But to do the opposite, you make sure you get it on the right authority. Okay. Sheina Maise.
Shukaya.
You heard this story before?